We have David Solie here, kicker from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and he will be representing Canada this upcoming January at the International Bowl in Arlington, Texas as a member of the National Under-19 team. David, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
So can you tell us what your first introduction was to the sport?
My first introduction was, I spent my childhood playing soccer. I was really big into soccer, and then ended up watching my brother play, and I got really interested in the sport, and so I decided my first year Pee-wee, so when I was about grade 7 or 6 or so, I said, I want to play football, so I dove in. I loved the contact, so just kept going with it, ended up quitting soccer, and luckily, I guess, kicking's a part of the game, so it was good that I played soccer for however many years.
And since that introduction, what teams have you played for?
My first team I ever played for was called the Lettingham Steelers. So it was just like a minor football league. And then from there, I went up to straight into senior after my grade 9 year. So I played senior football in grade 10. And then from then, I just played 3 years senior football. And now I'm with the University of Saskatchewan Huskies.
What has been the highlight of your football career?
The highlight was definitely last year when I went to Florida. So I went to Florida with the national team last year and ended up getting the MVP of that game. So that was definitely the highlight of my
Was that the North American Championship you're talking about?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So with that, can you talk about what your experience was like down in Florida for that championship?
It was unforgettable. Just being down there, not really knowing very many guys going down, so you're meeting a bunch of new people, getting to know your teammates not only on the field but off the field too. So I made lots of friendships, lots of new, friendships that I have now too in different provinces across Canada, and it was I don't even know how to put it. It was actually probably one of the greatest times I've had.
So, can you tell me, David, who were some of your role models on and off the field?
On the field was definitely my brother. So, I grew up watching him, and then my grade 10 year, I finally got to play with him again. And so, my grade 11 year and grade 12 year was tough not playing with him. But when I graduated, I had to make the decision whether to go away and play football somewhere or stay home. And one of my major decisions for staying home and playing at the U of S was so that I could play with my brother again. And so he's been a very big role model on the field. And off the field, I'm not. My coach from high school, Scott Hunseth, has had a huge impact on my life. Not only as a coach, but also as a teacher, just getting to know him, and he's always been there for me no matter what the situation was. He was just always there for me, and he's really helped me along the way.
Where were you when you learned the news that you had made the national team for the International Bowl?
This year I was actually in class with one of my buddies, and I got the email. I opened it up, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm on the national team. It just came as a surprise to me, and I was overjoyed. I think I stood up and actually walked out of class so I could go celebrate with my bud.
And you've kind of touched on that, but what was your reaction when you did see the email?
Oh, I was overjoyed. It was I got to play last year, and so getting the chance to play again, it was unbelievable.
What does it mean for you to represent Canada down in Texas at the International Bowl?
It means a lot to me. Growing up, you watch, the Team Canada, hockey teams and stuff like that. You grow up and you're those people are representing our country. You're really proud for them. And it's not only, it doesn't only mean stuff to me. I remember watching my brother. He was, started crying when we were watching the Olympics when Crosby scored that overtime goal, and he was telling me all this stuff about how proud he was to see my name come up when he was watching the game when I was playing in Florida. So it doesn't just mean a lot to me, it means a lot to my family.
What are you most looking forward to with the 2018 International Bowl?
I think getting to know more players. It's nice knowing people across the country so that when you go up against them in league play at in the university level, you know someone. It's not you're stepping in and not really knowing many people. So it's nice knowing a bunch of new people.
Now, David, you sort of touched on this in the beginning with your introduction to the sport. You were a soccer player, but did you play any other sports growing up? And if you did, what were they?
I played quite a few sports growing up, so I went through the soccer phase, I went through the basketball phase, football. There's that phase that most people go through is that gymnastics phase, I guess, and so I spent lots of my time doing extracurricular activities, so I guess I've touched on many sports, but majored in football.
What is your favorite food?
Food. I think I'm gonna have to go with tacos. That's always my homemade tacos that my mom always makes. It's always my go-to meal.
So, do you listen to any sort of pregame music or a pregame song to get you revved up for a game?
My pregame music isn't usually like most people's. Most people's is to get their energy levels going, but mine I like to listen to the old school tunes. Like I guess. What comes to mind is like the Elton John and like Billy Joel and stuff like that. Just kind of calms me down and gets me ready for the game. So.
And my final question: who or what is your All Madden team?
All Madden. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Miami Dolphins. I've always been a fan of Jarvis Landry and Odell, but sadly Odell's playing at New York, but I didn't want to follow him around, so I decided I went to Florida. I might as well cheer for a Florida team.
That's great. Thanks, David.
No problem.
That was David Solie, kicker from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He will be heading down to Texas this upcoming January to represent Canada at the International Bowl as a member of the U-19 team.